Welcome, welcome to my ex dirty secrets.
I woke up to the sound of her humming, soft, almost cheerful. Startled me. For months, that sound had vanished from our apartment, like warmth sucked from a dying fire. Leah stood by the stove, flipping pancakes, wearing the pale blue robe I bought her for our anniversary. She looked lighter. But it wasn't joy that tightened my chest. It was fear. "Morning," she said, flashing a smile too bright for a Monday. I was thinking, maybe we should start trying for a baby. The spatula trembled in her hand. My breath hitched. Baby. Those words, 3 little syllables, slammed into me harder than any confession could have. Because I knew what they really meant. She wanted proof. Proof that he hadn't left a trace. For the past 8 months, our marriage had quietly fallen apart. It wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no slammed doors. Just a slow, silent decay. She stopped reaching for me in bed, stopped laughing at my stupid jokes. She'd come home from late shifts at the clinic smelling faintly of cologne. Not hers, not mine. And when I'd ask, she'd deflect. "You're imagining things, Adam. Not everything is about you." But I wasn't imagining the guilt flickering behind her eyes. Or how she'd tense when her phone buzzed after midnight. Or how her smile no longer reached me. The night she finally turned away from me in bed, completely like a door slamming shut, I felt something inside me break. And now, months later, she wanted a child. "Adam," she said gently, placing a plate before me. "You okay?" I forced a smile. "Yeah. Just surprised." She leaned across the counter, eyes soft. "I know things have been off lately. But I miss us. I want to fix things." Her voice quivered just enough to sound sincere. And I almost believed her. Almost. But last week while she was showering I checked her phone. Not to spy, I told myself, but to breathe. I needed answers. I needed to know whether I was crazy. Her messages were gone. Deleted. Every thread, every contact except mine. Except one photo. A picture she must have missed. It was blurry, taken at night, maybe at a restaurant. A man's hand resting on hers across the table. The sleeve of a leather jacket. A gold watch glinting faintly under candlelight. She'd labeled it simply, Tuesday. That was the night she told me she had to cover a colleague's shift. I remember sitting alone that night, waiting for her dinner to grow cold, whispering to myself she wouldn't. She couldn't. But she had. And now she wanted a baby. I stared at her across the kitchen, memorizing every detail. The way her hair curled behind her ear, the way she avoided my eyes when she smiled. "Why now?" I asked. She hesitated. "Because love you. And I don't want us to drift apart anymore." "Drift apart," I said, setting my fork down. "Leah, we're already oceans away." Her face fell. "Please don't do this." "I'm trying." "Trying to what?" I interrupted. "Cover your tracks." The color drained from her face. "Adam, what are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone and opened the photo. Set it between us like evidence in a courtroom. Her eyes widened. For a moment she froze. Then she exhaled shakily and whispered, "It's not what you think." I laughed, hollow and bitter. "That's what they all say, right?" "Adam, I made a mistake," she said, tears spilling now. "It was one night. I was lonely. You were distant. I didn't plan it. So that's what this is." Snap. "You think a baby will erase him?" She flinched, her sob catching in her throat. "No. I just wanted to feel normal again. To make it right." Her voice cracked on the last word, and suddenly I wasn't sure who I hated more. Her for lying or myself for still loving her despite it. The silence between us stretched, heavy and suffocating. The smell of burnt pancakes lingered. I wanted to scream, to break something, to make her feel the same jagged pain splitting my chest open. But all I could do was stare at the woman I thought I knew. "Was it him?" asked finally. "The guy with the leather jacket." She nodded weakly. "A coworker. It's over now, I swear." "You deleted him." "Yes. From your phone or from your heart." That broke her. She sank onto the stool, sobbing into her hands. And for the first time, I saw her not as my wife, but as a stranger wearing her face. That night I couldn't sleep. Her apology replayed in my head like a skipping record. I kept thinking of all the mornings I'd made her coffee, all the nights I'd pulled her close when she turned away, all the effort I poured into a marriage that had already cracked beneath me. Around 2 a.m. she stirred beside me, whispered, "I love you." And for the first time I didn't whisper it back. 2 weeks later she handed me a small white stick. "It's positive," she said softly. I stared at it, my mind spinning. Positive. The word burned through my skull. "Adam," she said, reaching for my hand, "this can be our new beginning." I smiled faintly, though it didn't reach my eyes. Yeah, our beginning. But that night while she slept, I booked a DNA test. Quietly, methodically. Just in case. Because trust, once broken, doesn't rebuild, it mutates. And as I watched her sleep, her hand resting protectively over her stomach, a cold thought crept in. What if the baby wasn't mine? And worse, what if I still wanted to love it anyway?